All right, good morning, everybody. I'm back again. I just got off the phone with Rob. I got Bryan Armstead. He's calling all the way from, I want to say Maryland. He has just no telling where he at. Good morning. Where are you calling from this morning, sir?
I am in Maryland.
Okay, you are home. Well, good. You sound good this morning. Sound like that crud you had has gone away.
Well, we'll see. We stood up 13 minutes ago, so let's see if we can make through without any noise and confusion this morning.
Now you sent a picture. The Hyundai Veloster. Is that what you call? Is that how it's pronounced? Veloster.
That is how it's pronounced. Yeah.
It is a beautiful, inexpensive car for what it looks like. I mean, my wife showed me pictures of it last night. I went, that car is only $20,000. She said, yeah. I went, wow, that's a sharp looking.
Well, it comes in. It comes in at a low base price, and even fully loaded, it's a remarkable buy.
Yeah.
One thing you may not be able to see from the photographs that you're looking at, and I don't know what you're looking at.
No, we're looking at the interior right now. We're looking at the interior.
But can you see that it's a 3-door car?
No, I did not see that. I did not pay attention. It's a hatch. There it is. It's a hatch. My wife says it's like a hatchback station wagon kind of thing.
Well, and it is. And it's not a hatchback that has a whole lot of interior room, but it does have that utility of having the hatchback, and it does have the they call it, even Hyundai themselves call it, the quirky styling of having a 3-door access point. So on the driver's side, you have a full door.
Okay.
So, a big guy like me, it's a lot easier to get out in and out of a tight space with a full door.
Okay.
Actually, it's harder to get out with a full door because the door's so large. But, on the passenger side, you have a split door. So, and I am always a fan of split doors because in a coupe, if you ever have an accident, it can be hard to get out of the back seat of a coupe.
True.
People in the front seat are,
jam it in there too.
If they're not awake for whatever, from the impact. So it's nice to have that little exit portal, kind of a safety door. And the car, just as the second generation of the Veloster, the first generation came out in 2011, and I always liked it, but it was always a very niche vehicle. I mean, just the styling was a little radical for 2011. And even when you compare the 2011 or even the 2013 or 14 or 15 to today's model, the 2019 model is just gorgeous in comparison. I mean, the old models were nice looking. This 2019 model, here we go.
There you go. It started again.
This 2019 model. I tell you, it takes me about 3 or 4 hours to clear up my voice in the morning. So
you're doing great. You're doing.
The clock is just not going to happen. And the other thing that Hyundai is, now the one thing I cannot talk about today, and we're going to do 2 programs on this Veloster because I think it's a significant car. The one thing I cannot talk about today is the drive impressions of the car. So I can't talk about how well it handles or how good it goes around turns or how magnificent it is on the road. I just can't talk about those things.
Yeah, we can't talk about how magnificent it is on turns. We can't do any of those things. I understand. We won't talk about that.
I cannot talk about any of those things today.
Got it.
So we're going to come back after the embargo is lifted.
Okay.
And we will talk about the road dynamics. I was very pleased to personally to see an African American at the press launch who was the chassis engineer for the Veloster.
No.
And just based on certain things about the car, he received a lot of kudos. But again, we won't go into details about that. I will say that the Hyundai Veloster drives. Well, I can't say that.
No, you can't. No, you can't talk about how.
Let me move on to.
How about how it looks?
Oh man, you step inside, James, and you've got this really cool. Now, depending on trim level, you get certain things, of course. Now, the base trim comes in at 18.5. That's the Veloster 2-liter with the manual transmission. It's a very slick manual transmission, too. Some of the journalists had trouble because the gates were so close to each other. I found that refreshing because I don't know, I never missed a gear in this car, even when driving aggressively in the turbo spec manual transmission model. So you have the 2-liter manual transmission at 18.5. You have the AT at 19.5. The premium AT 2-liter 22.750.
Okay.
The turbos R-Spec manual transmission, which is a 1.6-liter turbo at 22.9. Turbo with a dual clutch at 25.4. Turbo Ultimate with a lot of bells and whistles, manual transmission, 26,650. Turbo Ultimate dual clutch, 28,150. Another 885 for destination and delivery. So I drove two cars. I drove the Turbo Spec, R-Spec manual transmission, 22.9.
Okay.
They're both 1.6-liter turbos.
Uh-huh.
And I drove the Veloster 2.0 Premium at 22,750. And they get up and, I can't say that. So let's go back inside, where depending on the trim level, you get a lot of bells and whistles. But even in the base Veloster 2.0 manual transmission, the 2.0 base level at 18.5 and 19.5, it's a very well contented automobile. And folks, if you're not familiar with what Hyundai, even their corporate cousin Kia, offer, they throw in the whole kitchen sink. You look at a sticker on you go to a Hyundai dealer and look at the sticker. There may be one option on the car, which is something that the dealer has added, or just some special paint that Hyundai offers for a little bit more money. But basically, you look under standard equipment and everything is to the left. And then when it comes to optional equipment, there's nothing there because they give you everything.
Wow, there's no option. Everything's there. That's great.
Well, I mean, of course, it's based on trim level. Again. The 2-liter base model has fewer features than the Turbo Ultimate dual clutch. But whatever trim level you buy, it's fully contented. You just have to decide how much money you want to spend. Do I want to spend $18,500 plus $885 for shipping, or do I want to spend $28,150 plus $885? And with today's prices, James, $18,885 seems like $18,500 rather seems like a real steal, and it is.
Yeah, it is.
And then $28,500 or $28,150 based on what the car comes with. Trust me, it's a great deal with this Hyundai Veloster. It's a really great deal.
Now, what I was curious, on the interior right there, the difference between the interior of the 18,000 one versus the 28,000, is there a remarkable difference in the interior trim levels? If you sit in one, could you tell, wow, this one's the fully loaded one versus the one that just by sitting in?
No.
Okay.
No, you can't.
That's what I was curious about.
You still get the telematic screen that sticks up on the dash there. You still, I think in the base level you don't get the fancy trim anodized colors like the red or the yellow that you may see on your screen. And again, I just got back yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to really absorb the notes. I'm just exhausted coming back. Just a long trip back. I had to take 2 flights.
Where were you at? Where were you test driving?
I was down in Austin, Texas.
Out in Austin, Texas. You were down in the Lone Star State. Boy, that's another country. It really is.
But Austin is different. I mean, and Austin has a lot of elevations, and it's not the typical Texas state where you just look for miles and it's just flat, particularly the Panhandle.
Yeah.
But Austin had a lot of elevations. It was a good chance to check out the car and the way it performed. And let's just say that Hyundai's done a nice job with the whole car overall. It's just a very impressive automobile. Again, you have all the you have even little things like a head-up display, which comes on the car. Beautiful performance-oriented wheels. They're just gorgeous to look at with red trim rings. Wireless charging, so you have the Qi wireless charging.
Good. For your cell phone?
The turbo puts out 201 horsepower. Paddle shifters when you get the dual clutch transmission. The rear suspension is a multi-link affair, so it's not your standard McPherson struts with coil springs. It's a multi-link rear suspension, which is the kind of rear suspension you find on higher-end automobiles. Your Porsches and your BMWs of the world. So it's really some advanced technology going on.
Well, the paddle shifting, now that's something that you don't normally see on an inexpensive car. Paddle shifting is normally like on Audis, A8s, and things like that.
Right.
I mean, that's. Now, how does the paddle shifting, because I have some people saying, my wife's looking at me going, what the heck's a paddle shifter? Because she's never, tell people what a paddle shifter does and how it works. Can you do that?
Well, paddle shifter is mounted to the steering. It's mounted to the steering column, and you'll have two shifters that stay in place no matter how you turn the steering wheel, or they're mounted to the steering wheel, as in the case of the Veloster, where you can shift. Like when you go into manual shift mode, every car these days has a manual shift mode, where if you want to shift the gears like you had a manual transmission, you can do it. So with the Veloster, there are two panels behind the wheel. The one on the right is when you want to shift up, up to the 7 speeds, and the one on the left is if you want to downshift. But you can just leave it in full automatic, or you can go through you can roll through the gears with the paddle shifter as if you had a manual transmission.
I bet you that thing will fly. I bet you. I know we can't talk about it.
It's impressive performance.
Good.
Let's just say
Put it that way. Very
they have a very advanced BlueLink telematics system, and you can have a Hyundai BlueLink connected car service is complimentary for 3 years. What can you do with this?
Yeah,
you can start the car. You can change the interior temperature. You can turn on the front and rear defroster. It can, it can tell you, it can unlock the car, obviously.
Yeah.
And it can do a whole lot of different things.
All through your cell phone. All through your cell phone.
All through a mobile application.
Ah, yes. That's incredible. That's because everyone has a cell phone at all times. And you said it had a wireless charging system for your cell phone, and these are things that are found on cars that are much more expensive than this. As optional.
I misspoke. I said the Veloster first hit the U.S. market in 2011. It was actually 2012. But again, when you get up in the trim levels, James, you get the advanced safety packages. Like in order to get the blind spot detection with rear cross traffic alert, you have to go up to the turbo level. Then with the turbo ultimate, you get the head-up display, the leather interior, forward collision advance with pedestrian detection, smart cruise control, the laser-guided cruise control.
Good.
But even on the base model, it's a safe vehicle. It's got torque vectoring control, even on the base model, which is another bit of advanced handling and safety technology to keep you going where you're supposed to go. So in a nutshell, the Hyundai Veloster is a very well sorted out package. I have to double check when the embargo will be lifted, but as soon as I can talk about the driving impressions of the car, come back on the air, we'll talk about the driving impressions. But well done, Hyundai. They've got a series of, the Kona was terrific, this Veloster's terrific. They got a real impressive lineup. Don't want to buy an SUV, folks. You have a fun car. This is a fun car to drive. HyundaiUSA.com, 2019 Hyundai Veloster.
I'm looking forward to hearing more about this. I'm looking forward to your second report about it when it comes off the embargo, where you can talk about the marvelous handling or whatever. That's all we can talk about.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Thank you so much, Bryan. We'll talk to you again next week. Appreciate it, sir.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.